Right, welcome to A Walk with Marty, Cobham FC TV. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, hit that button, please like and leave a comment. I'm here with footballing royalty, Mr. Dean Lewington, all-time Football League appearance holder. How many appearances?
I don't know, 700 and something, 780.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Please, so you play for currently MK Dons?
MK Dons, yeah.
Brilliant. And you are the club captain?
I am, yeah.
Okay, and position?
Less than a half.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, if I get on, yeah.
So look, I'm really intrigued because the period of time that you started playing for Wimbledon,
yeah,
and then obviously the transition from Wimbledon to MK Dons,
yeah.
They moved from Selhurst Park. This was a big part of my sort of childhood era. And look, I'm fascinated to know this story. So please, first of all, tell us how you got into football.
Just from, like most people, just playing with Craig in the garden.
Okay.
Obviously, Dad was involved in football, so he used to go to a lot of games
Yep.
and things like that. But just a normal way, Sunday league team, school teams, all pretty standard, really. Yeah.
And then it just went from there.
Yeah, just developed from there. We was picked up from Wimbledon. Craig was about 8, and I was really young, about 6. But they had no teams for us, so we used to just train. When I was younger, I just trained Easter holidays and things like that until about 8 or 9 when we got our team going.
Yeah.
And then I was at Wimbledon up until the move when I was 18.
Okay, so tell us about the move, because I've not actually heard it from someone inside. Like, obviously it was Wimbledon, so those that don't know, obviously Wimbledon came from non-league and they went through in 88, 89, they won the FA Cup. Dave Besant saved a penalty. I remember that crunching tackle from Vinnie Jones on Steve McMahon in that final, and that really put Wimbledon and the Crazy Gang on the map. And then at that time they played at Plough Lane, which was in Wimbledon, and then that stadium got knocked down. They moved to Selhurst Park, and then obviously, so you were playing at Selhurst Park, and then Wimbledon decided, you know, I think they run into some trouble, and they decided to go to MK Dons and turn it. So what was that transition like?
It was difficult because I think
you might have been more successful. Well, I was definitely better looking.
Still deluded there. It was difficult. I think the club, when they got relegated from the Premier League in like 2000, the Premier League money obviously propped up a lot of the stuff that they were doing, and when they dropped out of the Premier League, so the money dries up, and it's tough for most clubs. Obviously, they didn't have their own ground, which made it even harder, and the attendance is just, you know, a lot of women's attendance was really Premier League fans, you know, Man United fans and Tottenham fans for the away games, and so they sort of fell into the money trouble, and then for a few years they were trying to get grounds, and they could never find a ground, and so it was sort of grinding to a halt, and then, you know, it was real potential for it to go bankrupt, and it pretty much did, I think. And then the interest from Pete Winkleman coming to try and move it. There was talk years before, like going to Dublin, because they just couldn't find a ground in Merton, and so it was at that time the dog track wasn't available, and so there was nowhere really for them to go, and they couldn't secure any debt against the ground like most clubs do, and so they were sort of running out of options, I think. And with the drop down in the league, I think the appetite from the owners, it was Charles Copper at the time, sort of just dwindled. And eventually he sort of gave up on it, really, and the club was sort of plunged into administration, and from that point onwards it was sort of you know, it was touch and go with it even survive sort of thing. But you know, Pete put the money in to take it out of administration, but by doing that it took it to Milton Keynes, and from then it sort of moved on. But it was tough because our youth teams were the ones that kind of got sold, like Mackinac and Adjaman, and so, you know, you've come in and literally one was sold every week, and like Nigel Riacoka got sold. And, but it gave us a great opportunity at the same time. You know, for me, you know, trying to get through the amount of players we had so many good quality players. With half them leaving, the opportunity got bigger for you, and it was definitely a chance that maybe I wouldn't have got, or would have got at a later time if that hadn't happened. So it sort of it opened the door for quite a few of us, and so while it was new, a little bit scary, it was a little bit exciting in terms of playing first team football and playing it with pretty much a youth team as well. So it was strange times. Obviously, you know, from here, from Molesey, Wimbledon was 20 minutes away. It was literally ideal, and then obviously going to Milton Keynes. It was a big move for everyone, but it was kind of it was that or the club died really, and I know people don't agree with it still now, but that was a choice of at the time. It was either the club completely died or Pete bought it.
So what's it like? I'm really intrigued to know, coming through into the first team. You're in a brand new stadium, you're relocated, and you're coming through to the first team. So you've got this, like at the time, state of the art, brand new, spanking new stadium. You've got the situation with the fans, and I know about this. You've got obviously the existing Wimbledon hardcore fans that didn't like it, and you're jumping ships, you're getting up to Milton Keynes, and what's that like? And you're coming through as a player, you're learning your trade, and you're getting into the team. So what's that like? And being in and around the first team and being a professional football player on a daily basis, that's your job. That's what you do.
Football side of it's amazing. It's,
Yeah.
It is dream come true. It's, you literally go from playing reserve football in front of 20 people to them playing like Derby away in front of 30,000 or like. So the jump is massive. There's no real stepping stone. It's nothing to something, and that side is really exciting. You get into play, and obviously you get a little bit nerves and the other stuff come in. You're in the papers and good and bad. Commenting on your performance, which is quite a new thing. But mainly it's just exciting. I think at such a young age, it's everything's kind of in front of you, and so it was really exciting. And we had players that were in my youth team, so I think 5 of us from my youth team who I was kind of with since I was about 13, 14, but all got in the same team at the same time. Yeah. And so it felt quite natural in terms of stepping up. But it was a good time. It was just I think it was a little bit before social media, so in terms of the fans, obviously we was aware that there was the majority of people weren't happy with it, and at the same time, because you didn't have that direct on your phone like you do now, it was almost a little bit sheltered. I think if it happened now, I think it would have been a lot more personal, but I think at the time, probably not having your social media and stuff like that probably helped a little bit.
Because you get that, you've got like fan groups, YouTube and stuff like that, like sort of AFTV and stuff like that, critique, players, and very vocal, and that, I can imagine for players as human beings could be quite tough. And on that note, for any young girl or boy that's looking to get into football and obviously moving through the system, that's watching this and that wants to play football professionally and as a career, obviously those pressures you talk about, I'm really intrigued to know that obviously the amount of appearances you've had and being a club captain is phenomenal, and that career, 20 years, as a professional football, and especially at one club, coming through the youth system, it's Tony Adams-esque sort of stuff, it really is, and I really admire that, honestly. Please explain to me what strategies and how you found to deal with that pressure as a player, those outside pressures, those inside pressures, changing room pressures, and how that didn't stop you developing yourself as a player in your career.
Yeah, I think it's really important to know yourself in terms of what you're good at and what you're not good at. So it's really, when you play a game, you come off, be completely honest with yourself. Did you play well? Did you not play well? I think if you're not, you'll tend to look to outside sources for validation, And you always got to pay attention to your coach. You also know in yourself how you played, sort of thing. And so if you're leaning on fans or someone saying well done or you played well today, it feels nice, especially when you get in the youth team, because everyone when you come through the youth team, everyone's really positive at the start. Yeah. But then they'll turn and they'll tell you you've had a bad game, and if you're using that as your reference point, it's very hit and miss with people. So you've got to really understand what you're about as a person. Be really honest with yourself, in that I would know when I played well, and if I had 100 people saying I played badly, in myself I knew what I had to do, and if I'd done that, and you have to have that mental strength of knowing that, and people say don't pay attention to it. I think at lower levels it's probably a lot easier, especially the level I played at. It's not in the papers every day, and it's not in the Sky Sports News, and it's just always remember that life goes on. It's always great. You go around old grounds and you see pictures of the old teams that have results. Yeah, no one remembers it.
No,
it's it's a number on the board, and life goes on.
You
have a bad game, feels like the end of the world. By Monday, Tuesday, there's another game on TV. Someone else is getting hammered. Life does go on, and so you just you learn to, obviously it's important, it's what you do, but also life goes on. There's always tomorrow. So
Okay, and I'll get to the end because I don't want to take up too much of your time. But this is a question I ask everyone that comes on here, and it really intrigues me, and especially a professional football player. tell me about definitely two things. So a typical training day, I want to know, and on a match day, how you set up from the moment you wake up, what you do, what you eat, whether you eat straight away, whether you eat later, or how you for training prepare yourself. What time are you in at training? What do you do at training? What time do you leave training? What's a typical training day? What would you do in the evening to relax? And obviously on a game day, very similar. How would you prepare mentally, physically, and nutritionally for a game day?
So routine-wise, trainings, I'm at 7 with the kids, and then I leave for Milton Keynes. Breakfast at 9. And then into the gym I do my upper body before training, so upper body, any weights you have to do. Then you have a thing called pre-act now, where it's just basically kind of a stretching with some light weights to sort of stimulate the muscles, get ready for training. Then we train at around 11, about an hour and a half training, and then go back, and sometimes you have meetings in the afternoon on the other team, on your team sometimes, about different stuff. And then and that's you done pretty much about 2:30, you're done. Game day, up at 7 as well. The kids would have breakfast, normal breakfast.
That's happening, you're getting up, mate.
It was different when I was younger, but yeah. And then I'd eat around 10:30. All the normal, like chicken breast, beans, toast, eggs, nothing outrageous. And then, journey to the ground and away. But your mental preparation starts probably Thursday, Friday. You start knowing who you're going to play against, knowing what players you're up against, what qualities they've got, what you're going to have to do. There's something you probably don't, until you're not in a team, you don't realise how much pressure you're under. Until you don't think, when you're actually playing, you don't realise you are. And then when you're not in it, you realise how much it kind of just affects you. You have that gradual, it just builds up during the week sort of on you. And then normally once you're actually at the ground and the warm-up starts, you actually feel better. Like the bits before the changing room, you get a lot of information, a lot of meetings, a lot of stuff about the game. And when you actually get out on the pitch, it's actually a bit of a relief just to be like...
What's that like? Coming out onto a football pitch, Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock kick-off, you're coming out to warm up, and then after the warm-up, and then you're going back in the change rooms, you're getting fired up, and you're coming out onto the pitch in front of 30,000 people. What's this like?
There's not many times 30,000 have been there, but it'd be nice if there were. But there was... It's literally the best feeling. It's such a unique feeling. It's that mix of excitement, a little bit of fear, a little bit of anxiety, all the stuff that you'd expect, really. But it's, just you kind of want the game to get started and have your first touch, be sort of settle in, and once you're actually out there, you don't actually think too much. And the game sort of goes so quick and it's so fast that you don't have time to really reflect about a stand or a song or noise. Like it's just all background noise sort of thing. It's just there, and you don't actually really notice it that much sort of thing. But it's I think in the tunnel is probably the most nervous you're going to be. And then once you're out, and it's away you go. It's what you've been used to doing. So it's definitely, as I got older, it's definitely got easier. Sort of 19, 20 when I was first in the team, if someone said to me, "You don't have to do this," I'd have shook their hand and I want to walk back in. Like you're that nervous, you are really sort of, you don't want to make a mistake or let anyone down, and you are. It's try and get on the pitch. Once you're on the pitch, you're okay, and it's all right.
Brilliant. Look, I really appreciate your time, Dean.
No problem.
Absolute legend. Thank you so much. And look, thank you so much for watching. If you've made it to the end, please subscribe to the channel. There's plenty more content like this that's coming. It's an absolute real honour to do this interview with you, and I love content like this. I love finding out, and there's, we've got some really interesting guests lined up to come on this show. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.